Yo, 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 it's your boy Jay Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 2, episode 28. On today's episode, I will be looking into March Madness, and after that, I'm going to talk about a couple of rule changes that the NFL has made. And to end this episode, I'm going to tell y'all my confidence level in the Los Angeles Lakers, all right? So today's episode going to be fairly short. I want to get y'all in and out, all right? So let's go ahead and let's get straight to the point. But as always, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning, allowing me to talk about sports, but it's something that I love to do. Without him, I would not be here right now. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing kicked off. All right. First thing I want to talk about is the bracket challenge update. All right. So last week before March Madness even started, I went on my social media accounts. I went on Facebook and Instagram. Hopefully, y'all are following those two accounts. And I actually promoted a bracket challenge idea. Okay. I went through ESPN. I put a link in my bio on Instagram and in Facebook. And I actually said if you join that link, you have a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. Okay. If you end up winning the bracket challenge. Now, the ESPN app and ESPN is actually doing the grading of the brackets. It's not me. I'm not sitting there saying, okay, this bracket looks better than this bracket, and so on and so forth. The ESPN has its own little grading scale on how it's grading the actual brackets. So for the bracket challenge update, I do want to go ahead and say who is in the top 12 as of right now. And this is very fluent. This can change after one game. A lot of things can change because at one point I was number one. All right, but as y'all see on y'all screen, this is the top 12 people in the bracket challenge right now. For me, I done dropped out of the top 12. I'm at 13 right now. The J Best that y'all see up there is my younger brother, so that's not me. He made two brackets, so he is at number 4 and number 7. All right, but at number one, you got my father, Derek Bress. He is number one. Number two, got my cousin Dennis Hill, and tied for number two as well. One of my closest friends, Tyrell Randall. All right, so as you can see, those are the list of the participants in order, ranked from first to 12th. All right. And if, as you can see, some people actually pick Kentucky and Baylor, but they're still within the top 12. Okay, that's why I just said that is graded upon ESPN is grading these brackets, and I believe it goes by points. As y'all can see on the right side of your screen, you see the points. The leader, my father, has 510 points. All right, so that is because he got a certain amount of games right that gave him the 510 points. So even though some people pick Kentucky, right, on one side of the bracket it might look real bad, but on the other side it looks really good. That's why they're still in the runnings for the $50 Amazon gift card. So that's your update for my bracket challenge. And actually, for those of y'all that did not join this bracket challenge, or for those of y'all that want to do another bracket challenge, I'm also doing a second chance bracket challenge. Okay, the second chance bracket challenge is going to be just with the Sweet 16. All right, just the Sweet 16. I'm gonna send out a link a little bit later today. I'll be able to see it on my social media. If you got me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to click on the link and then join my Sweet 16 second chance bracket challenge. But the kick is you have to be 100% right on this next bracket challenge. Okay, you got to be 100% right. Get every single game right, including the national championship, and you'll win a $25 Amazon gift card. All right, and you also have to comment on this video below. Anything you want, just comment something. Tell me anything you want me to talk about for the next episode. Just give me a feedback on this episode. But you must have a comment on this video, and you also, like I said, join that link, and you have to have a perfect bracket for the Sweet 16. Okay, I'm not going to just say whoever wins the bracket challenge. No, you got to have a perfect bracket, which means every single game in the Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four, and National Championship, you have to get right in order to win this $25 Amazon gift card. All right, so that's my new bracket challenge. Once again, you will see it later on tonight. Or you see it today actually on my social media accounts. So if if you're on Instagram or Facebook, got me up there, you are in luck in order to join my next second chance bracket challenge. All right. But I do want to talk about these brackets that has been busted. After Saturday, so after the first round, there was no more perfect brackets. No more after the very first round. Okay. That is actually crazy. That's a big reason why I'm doing this second chance bracket challenge, just so I can get everybody a chance to kind of redeem themselves because of how bad the first round went. So this was as of Saturday morning. So after the round of 64, All right, round 32 started on Saturday. So after Thursday and Friday, there was zero perfect brackets remaining. Okay, nearly 8.9 million brackets had picked either Auburn, Florida, Kentucky, or South Carolina to win it all, or actually to win their first round game, and they all lost their first round game. And the biggest bracket killers was BYU. BYU was, I believe, it was a 6 seed, lost to 11. 9.3 million brackets picked BYU to win that game. Busted. The next big bracket killer was Mississippi State. Mississippi State, 9.2 million brackets picked Mississippi State to win their game, I believe, against Michigan State. That was the 8 and 9 seed, and they ended up losing that game as well. And then 1.1 million brackets picked South Carolina to win in that first round, and they ended up losing to Oregon, I believe. So, look, it was actually 2,114,647 brackets entered the challenge for ESPN, right? And all those brackets was busted by Saturday. Okay, so that's a big reason why I'm doing this next bracket challenge, because everybody's bracket was busted after the very first round. You know, sometimes you get that one last remaining perfect bracket by Sweet 16, Elite Eight, but this year there was none after the very first round. All right, but I do want to give y'all a preview of this year's Sweet 16, just like that. We're already at the Sweet 16. All right, we round of 64 was 2 days, 32 was 2 days, and then now you're down to 16, just like that, just that fast. So March Madness is a great thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's full of great moments and big time shots and all of that. But it goes by in the blink of an eye. Okay, so we're already at the Sweet 16, and these are your teams that are remaining. The final 16 teams remaining in your brackets for the Eastern region. Okay, so we're looking at the top left of the bracket. You got UConn and San Diego State. That's a 1 seed and a 5 seed. They will face off, and you have Illinois and Iowa State, a 3 and a 2 seed. All right, so. Um, typically you want to see the top seeds. Well, typically you would think that the top seeds would be remaining around this time of year, around this time of the tournament. Sorry. Normally you see a lot of lower seeds make it because March Madness. Like March Madness is one thing. A friend of mine DM me on Instagram. Shout out to Miss Chelsea. Okay, Miss Chelsea. She said, "Man, I gotta start doing my research in order to do this bracket challenge." I'm like, "Look, we are all guessing. All right, there's no amount of research you could have done to actually pick every single game right. Like this is just not possible. Okay, you know, you look at the NBA and the NFL, 9 times out of 10, the best team will win, right? Unless you really see a good team struggling, they're going against a hot mediocre team, right? You might see mismatches, but normally in March Madness, there's a ton of upsets, a ton. But in a couple of these regions, it's a lot of top six, 6 seed and up. So this year, I think a lot of the upsets happened round one, but then round two, I think that a lot of the good teams went on. A lot of the higher seeds went on. A lot of lower seeds fell back because there's only one double digit seed remaining in NC State. But let's look at the Western region. Got North Carolina, my dogs. We number 1 seed in that region, going against Alabama, number 4. And then you got Clemson and Arizona, 6 and 2 seed, facing off as well. Looking into the Southern or South, you got Houston and Duke, a 1 and 4 seed. Then you got NC State and Marquette, an 11 and a 2 seed. So NC State is the only double-digit seed remaining in this March Madness. And then you look at the Midwest region, you got Purdue and Gonzaga, 1 and 5, and then you got Creighton and Tennessee, 3 and 2. For me, for my picks, I'm gonna go with UConn. I'm gonna go with Illinois. I'm gonna go with North Carolina, Arizona. I might actually pick Clemson, honestly, but and then on the south side. I'm gonna go with Houston. All right. I thought Houston was gonna lose to A&M, so I did pick A&M to upset Houston because Buzz Williams, the head coach for A&M, also coached in Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's in the same conference as North Carolina, so I was very familiar with Buzz Williams. He's a really good coach, and A&M had a really good squad this year, so I thought they would take down Houston, but that did not happen. But I'm gonna go with Houston against Duke. NC State and Marquette. I'm going with Marquette, and then Purdue and Gonzaga. I'm going with Gonzaga. Okay, I'm going with Gonzaga. Gonzaga is like one of those OG teams when it comes to March Madness. Right, they're always in the conversation. No matter how much noise they make in the regular season, you got to watch out for them come March Madness. All right, then Creighton and Tennessee. I'm probably going to go with Creighton. All right, see a minor upset. Right, 3 and 2 is not really that big of an upset, but I think I'm going to go with Creighton in that game as well. I think in the championship round, I'm going to go with North Carolina, and Gonzaga. All right, I think it's going to be a North Carolina Gonzaga matchup. The last time North Carolina actually won the tournament, they beat Gonzaga in the national championship. Right, so I think it's going to be a rematch of that. And then of course I'm going with UNC. I mean, I'm a UNC fan, so I'm going to go with UNC. But if I wasn't being partially biased, I would go with UConn to end up winning it all because they just look like the best team in the whole entire bracket. Don't really want to see them win back to back, but they do look like the best team out there as of right now. But I'm going with UNC for my Sweet 16 bracket challenge, and I also went with UNC for my the full bracket challenge. All right. But that is it for my March Madness talk. Next, we're gonna go to the NFL. All right, there's been a couple of rule changes this week that I do want to address and kind of give my thoughts on it. The first thing that happened that they changed was the hip drop tackle. All right, so this is basically a tackle when you kind of have the person from behind, they're still trying to move forward, and then you just drop. You just fall down to kind of bring them down with you. It's a tackling technique that most defenders have been using throughout NFL history, but the NFL finally banned it from happening. Now it is a 15-yard penalty, and there's also talks within the NFL about trying to change it to fines and warning letters, kind of like the use of helmet, right? So they're trying to really enforce that they don't want this tackle to happen. I do agree with this rule change only because it reduces injury. Anything that can reduce injury to me is a great move for the NFL, right? Because I think a lot of years we look at a lot of teams and we say, man, if that guy didn't get hurt, it'll be a whole different discussion. Every year I go into the NFL season and I say, turn the injuries off. For those of us that plays Madden, we know what that means. All right, turn the injuries off, which basically means we should be able to go through a full year without no injuries. I feel like every year a team has an injury that changes the outcome of their season. So when the NFL enforce rules like this, you can only give it a round of applause just because they're trying to keep players healthy, trying to keep players safe. So you gotta agree with them in that and looking at it from that perspective. But when you look at it from like I feel like defenders are at a very high disadvantage right now. I feel like when you're tackling a offensive player, you got to kind of process what you're really gonna do. Like I remember back in the day, it was see ball, hit ball. That's what it was. No matter what, no matter how you was gonna get him down, just bring him down. Whether you hit him with the hit stick, whether you dove at his legs, whatever it took to bring the player down. But nowadays, you got to really think. Okay, can I do this? I can't leave with my helmet. Can't grab the face mask. Can't horse collar. Can't perform a hip drop tackle now. Right, got to be careful. I hit the quarterback. Can't go helmet to helmet. Can't slam him down at the end of the play. I can't hit him as hard as I want to. Like it's a lot going through defenders' minds whenever they're trying to make a tackle. That's why I do think that is a disadvantage for defenders. But at the end of the day, I have to applaud the NFL for just trying to make the game safer, right? And I think that as fans, we should appreciate that a lot more because now, okay, our star players' chance of getting hurt kind of decreased, right? It's kind of decreased, and now our outlook of the season will remain the same versus a drastic injury that will kind of like, for example, the Ravens last year I think the play that kind of made this rule change was the hip drop tackle on Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews got hurt. It didn't really change the outcome of their season because he ended up coming back and they were still winning games. But for other teams, if that happened to a star player, 9 times out of 10, they're done for. Right. So I do agree and I appreciate them trying to reduce injuries. But at the end of the day, I do think that defenders are at a disadvantage. That's just the game we play today. It's no longer like the 90s and the 80s where you just go and kill someone. Nah, you really got to think about what you're going to do before you do it. So that is the hip drop tackle. They're trying to ban that, and that is now becoming a 15-yard penalty. They're also talking about turn that into some fines against players that do perform it. The next rule change that they did make was the NFL kickoff rule change. Right, we're changing the format of the kickoff. Remember, the ball was kicked off originally from the 35-yard line, right, and then you kick, and then everybody kind of lines up on the 40. Right, no, sorry. Everybody lines up on the 30-yard line. The ball's kicked off from the 35. As the kicker's going to kick it, they take off running, and then whatever happens, happens, right? But once again, the NFL is trying to dial down on injuries, and they're trying to reduce the concussions that's happening around the league. And when you think about the kickoff, it's basically players running full speed at each other with high collisions, right? Like big collisions. They're trying to reduce the concussion rate. And with that being said, they're going to change the kickoff structure kind of to, I believe, the XFL did it. I believe it's the XFL that first started doing this, and then they kind of changed it to the NFL. So if you look at the NFL hybrid kickoff, I posted it. Oh, I have the picture up here on the screen right now. Now the ball's being kicked from the 35 still, right? But all the players are lined up across the 50 on the 40. All right, so they're across the 50 on that 40-yard line going in. All right, and they have to wait until the return man catches the ball. So as you see, the receiving side is set up. Most players are on the 35, some kind of in between the 30 and the 35, but you get two returners. All right, there's two returners at the 5-yard line. All right, as soon as that player catches the ball, then they can run and attempt to make the tackle. To me, originally when I first looked at it, I'm looking at it like, okay, this ain't gonna work because I feel like there's no space. Like you already have the defenders at the 40, right? So basically, I only got really from the 5 to the 40. I only got 35 yards to work with to make something happen, to make something shake, right? And you got to really have some nice blockers, right? If you for the receiving team in order to make something happen. But now that I look at it, there's also a flag being enforced that the ball kicked out of bounds, then the ball will be placed at the 30. I believe the ball placed at the 30 if the ball gets kicked out of bounds. Let me make sure that I said that right. I don't want to mislead y'all real quick. Yeah, so if the ball gets kicked out of bounds, all right, then the ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. Right. So that to me, that's just crazy. Right. That is great field position for the receiving team. You kick the ball out of bounds. So I think it's really going to be, they're really going to emphasize keeping the ball in play for the kickers. Do not kick that ball out of bounds so they get the ball on the 40. Imagine late in a ball game, you're going against Patrick Mahomes, you're going against Joe Burrow, you're going against one of these great quarterbacks, and you kick the ball out of bounds and put them on the 40. Let's say you're leading the game. Let's say it's 24-21, right? You don't want to put them on the 40-yard line because now they're basically almost in field goal range if you think about it. So I do think that that's going to make a lot more kickoffs happen, and then a touchback, the ball will be spotted at the 30-yard line. So I think you want to try and give them give the receiving team bad field position. So you're going to want to keep the ball in play. I don't want to put you on the 30, and I definitely don't want to put you on the 40 if I kick it out of bounds. So I do think that this new, once again, the rule change is to protect NFL players. All right. As fans, we should appreciate it at the end of the day, because like I said, whenever you have a star player on your team, you don't want to see them get hurt. If you have a important player on your team, you don't want to see them get hurt. All right, so when the NFL makes changes like this to prevent injuries, you gotta appreciate it. All right, it's gonna look different, but we're gonna adapt, we're gonna adjust to it, and we're gonna move on. So I do applaud the NFL for making these rule changes, protecting players, protecting star players, and protecting team success, because team success is all based on the players, right? If you don't have the players, you can't have team success. So the fact they're protecting the players kind of increases your team's chance for success. So I appreciate it. NFL. All right. This is the last topic I told you I'm gonna get y'all in and out today. My confidence in the Lakers. All right. Last night the Lakers did end up beating the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Milwaukee Bucks. No, the Lakers was missing LeBron James last night. All right, but the player that really stuck out last night, I think, really stuck out to everybody. The Final Four is 128 to 124 in OT. I believe went to two overtimes. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, and this is why I have so much confidence in the Lakers, because when Anthony Davis wants to, when he feels like it, he's almost top five player in the league. Almost. He's top 10, right? But when he plays like this, he's arguably, not saying he is like definitively, not saying it's no doubt about it, but you can argue he's a top five player in the league. And I tried to stress this before the season started. People hit me up. Oh man, AD not no top 10. He's not even top 10. People think he's not even top 10. But when he can go out there and get you 34 points and 23 rebounds, that's the AD. That he can do that any night, any given night. Like it's the consistency for AD. That's the only reason why he's not one of the best players, one of the best big men to ever touch a basketball. It's because of his inconsistency. All right. You saw in New Orleans, he was balling every single night. He came to LA. It's like after he won that championship, he kind of took his foot off the gas a little bit. Right. I'm seeing it's like a roller coaster with AD. You're gonna get good days, you're gonna get bad days. Like good days, bad days, good days, bad days. Like that's just what AD is. And if he can just flip that switch and ball out in the playoffs like this, it's going to be hard for teams to actually take down LA. So without LeBron, like I said, they beat the Bucks last night. My confidence level, my confidence in the Lakers, I'm very confident. And this is why. Okay, as of right now, probably gonna be the 9 or 10 seed. Right, you have to play 2 games in the playing tournament to get in. Probably gonna be the ninth. Probably gonna be the 8th seed, and probably gonna play. Actually, we're gonna be the 8th seed, and gonna end up playing OKC. I hope. I hope if we can avoid Denver in the first round, I think we will be good to go. Honestly, if Denver can be number 2 and be at the bottom of the bracket, and we can be number 8 at the top of the bracket and not see them until the conference championship, then I like our chances. I think that's the only team that really puts fear in my heart when I look at the West. All right, in the West, you got OKC. OKC is a very young team. Okay, everybody's trying to put these big expectations on them when we really need to stop. Let them have a good season. And it gets to the playoffs, they're gonna learn. All right, they're gonna lose first round 9 times out of 10, especially if they play the Lakers, because the Lakers actually own OKC this year. But OKC is not ready for a championship run. They're just not. It's kind of like last year with the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies was a young team, right, led by their star John Morant. This team is led by Shea. Now Shea and Ja, that's 2 different levels. I'm not saying Shea and Ja is the same, but it's OKC with the All Star player in Shea. Last year it was Memphis with an all-star player in Ja. Right. You had great pieces around both of them. But in the first round, what happened to the Grizzlies? They played an experienced veteran team in LA and lost. Same thing will happen this year with OKC if they matched up with LA. So I'm not really worried about OKC. Next year, I'll be worried about OKC. But as of right now, not too worried. Kind of like the Sacramento Kings last year. Once again, a young team that everybody just wanted to put in the championship conversation so bad, but they played Golden State round 1 and lost. It's the same deal this year. So OKC, not really worried about it. The Minnesota Timberwolves, not really worried about it. Once again, Anthony Edwards gonna be his first time really in the playoffs, right? And I just don't see them getting past the second round at least. And it also comes down to matchup, right? So if Minnesota end up playing some scrub 7 seed, 6 seed, then okay, cool. But the West, really the bottom half kind of look as good as the top half. So I do think that it's gonna come down to matchups. All right. I do think that if LA can get the OKC Thunder in the first round, I do think that it's going to be. I think we're going to be able to get out of the first round, and it's just going to depend on who we play after that. But I'm very confident because at the end of the day, I have LeBron, I have AD, I have Austin Reeves, who has that playoff experience now after last year. All right, I keep saying the best thing that happened to Austin Reeves in his whole entire career was LeBron James getting hurt at the end of last season because he was able to step in, get a rhythm, get the ball more, and then turn into the Austin Reeves. That's why we paid him so much. That's why he is one of the most important players on the team. Like as of right now, Denver has the number 1 seed. All right, but if you look at number 2, it's the Thunder, and they're neck and neck, right? So I'm praying that OKC can take that number 1 seed and keep it, so we can play them in the first round of the playoffs. But then, like I said, you got the Nuggets, the Thunder, the Timberwolves. Not really worried about the Thunder, Timberwolves, the Clippers. It was the stretch this year where I kept hearing the Clippers will win the championship. Clippers will win the championship. Like we just don't remember that Kawhi and Paul George can't stay healthy. Like they're healthy right now, but hey, history repeats itself. I'm not going. I do not have confidence that they're going to make it through a full playoff run without getting hurt. James Harden, what does he do in the playoffs? He chokes. We saw it last year in Philly. Yes, Joel Embiid did not perform, but James Harden played horrible in Game 6 and 7 last year against the Boston Celtics. Right, it was 5 and 6 or 6 and it was 6 and 7 because they had the lead. They went back to Philly. It was up 3-2, lost that game, then lost Game 7 against Boston. So we know what James Harden is in the playoffs. We know Paul George and Kawhi Leonard can't really stay healthy. We know this Clippers team is like 1-8 versus above 500 teams since the All Star break. Was never worried about them. The Pelicans, once again, a young team that got to get their feet wet. Not worried about them. The Mavericks, they can't play defense. Right? I love Luka Doncic. Y'all know how I feel about Luka Doncic, but they can't play defense. All right, they're too small. They really don't have any. They went and traded for Dale Gafford from the Wizards, but am I worried about Gafford versus Anthony Davis? Heck no. All right, so I'm not worried about the Mavericks. The Kings, in the regular season, Sabonis owns AD, but I refuse to believe that if we was in a 7-game series, Sabonis would dominate AD. I really disagree with that. And De'Aaron Fox is very hot against LA in the regular season. I want to see it in the playoffs. All right. The Suns, not too worried about them either, honestly. Having Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and KD has not played enough games together for me to be worried about the big three. Can they score? Yes, but can they defend? That's a whole different conversation. And then you got the Lakers and the Warriors. As of right now, the Rockets are trying to take the Warriors out, but I'm only worried about one team in this conference. That's why my confidence in the Lakers is very high. And I heard people come out on sports shows today talking about, oh, you see the Lakers last night? Y'all see what they did, bro? This is why I say at the beginning of the season you cannot judge teams. You know how long an 82 game season is? That is a very long season. So when you look at the first 20, 30 games, you can't judge anyone. You can't even say his team don't look good. Because all I heard this year was the Lakers don't look good. The Lakers don't look good. The Lakers don't look good. Then as of late, oh, the Lakers got a chance. We've been known they had LeBron, and this is the same roster they had day one. As long as you have LeBron and AD, you have a chance. The best duo in all of basketball. I don't mean individual duo. I mean like playing off each other. Braun throwing oops to AD. Braun and AD in the pick and roll game. That's what I mean by the best duo. They play off each other so well. And this is why I honestly think that AD and Braun is the best. Like AD is the best sidekick LeBron has ever had because it's such a they play through each other. They play with one another. That's why I believe that that's the best teammate he's ever had. That's another conversation for another day. But I do believe my confidence in the Lakers is very high. All right, only because I don't see any matchups that I'm worried about other than the Nuggets. All right, the Nuggets are the only team that scare me. If we can get the 8th seed and the Thunder can get the 1 seed, then we get into the Western Conference. See that. Now, what happens when we get there, that's a whole different conversation, all right? But I do believe that if we can get the Thunder in round one, we will be able to get to the Western Conference Finals. If we get the Nuggets in round one, then it might be Cancun on 3, all right? Because the Nuggets just look like the best team in all of basketball right now. Probably the best starting 5 in all of basketball, without a doubt. They have no weaknesses in that starting 5. But I am very confident in LA right now. And last night, all it did was increase my confidence in LA. If AD can play like that, man, the sky's the limit for LA, period. Because it's going to come down to him. LeBron can do his thing. I saw LeBron drop 40 the other night against the Warriors, and we lost. All right. It's all going to come down to AD. AD is the most important player on this team. And if he can ball out, not even getting 34 and 23, right? Just give me 30 and 15, 30 and 16. All right, 28 and 19. Somewhere along them lines, he can do it any night, right? He can do it any night, then we'll be in the conversation for sure in terms of making a championship run. All right. But that is it for today, man. I told y'all I'm gonna get y'all in and out of here. I am working. I am working on my consistency, y'all. I'm definitely working on that. Don't think that I'm just sitting around here being lazy. All right, I'm trying to have school in one hand, the podcast in the other hand. Unfortunately, the hand that the school is in, this hand weighs more. All right, it weighs more. All right, school is more important, so I got to make sure I get that stuff done. But I will start to get more consistent. Shout out to my homeboy Tyrell for holding me to it. He said, I'm gonna hold you to it, bro. You gotta get a certain amount of videos out per week. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get the job done, man. I'm gonna make sure I get y'all good content. Don't forget to go to my Instagram, my Facebook. It's right at the bottom of the screen. Go join my Sweet 16 Second Chance Bracket Challenge. All right, you gotta be perfect 100% in order to get the $25 Amazon gift card. All right, but that is it for today, man. Y'all stay blessed. All right, I will see y'all soon. Much love. Enjoy the Sweet 16 because the Final Four is literally right around the corner. All right, much love. I'm out.